right,
Thank you,
thank
man.
you so much, Travis and Jessica, again for this opportunity to be here and to share something I'm very passionate about to each and every one of you. And I'm just gonna see if I could share my screen. Let's see. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So is everyone able to see my screen?
Mhm.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so I can't see everyone, so I'll have to just do my thing. But again, thank you so much, Jessica and Travis, for this opportunity to be here and share something I'm very passionate about, which is sound healing. And it is a holistic approach to recovery. I found out for my own self, both personally and professionally. And I'm honored to share my experience, strength, and hope, and tools to help us to sustain our sobriety, our recovery on our journey of healing. And just to share a little bit about myself, my name is Kelvin Young, and I am a certified sound healer and co-founder of Soul Care Love with my beautiful life partner, Maria Del Carmen. And we have opportunities to offer sound healing sessions to different people from all walks of life, where we go to yoga studios and wellness centers internationally. But I also go to places where sound healing may not be accessible to many people as well, such as addiction treatment centers, mental health facilities, prisons, shelters throughout Connecticut and beyond. I also work at a psychiatric hospital here in Connecticut called the Institute of Living, which is part of Harvard Healthcare. And I work with men and women, non-binary folks that are dealing with mental health, addiction, and trauma issues. And my responsibilities is to bring more of a holistic approach to the hospital by facilitating sound healing sessions, but also integrating holistic practices like yoga, meditation, Reiki, and different other mind-body holistic practices like drumming onto the campus as well. I'm also the co-founder of Toivo, which is a peer-run holistic healing center here in Hartford, Connecticut, where myself and my dear friend and brother and mentor, the late Darren Drum, we believe that no one should be denied the benefits of yoga, meditation, sound healing, qigong, based on socioeconomic standings, psychiatric histories, or experiences with addiction. That these holistic healing modalities are literally for everybody. And one of the most important things for me to share, which I'm grateful for today, is that I'm also a person that's in long-term recovery, which means I haven't used alcohol or any other drug to deal with my own mental emotional distress since March 6th, 2009. And I think it's so important for us to understand the why we do what we do. Most of us here, we probably work in the recovery field. And it's so important to connect to our why in doing this work, because what I've learned is this work is very rewarding in its own way. But we don't remember or connect to our why. We can easily burn out, get stressed out, and all these different other types of things. So it's so important for us to connect to our why. And for me, after many years of battling with depression and anxiety and drug addiction, I found that freedom from alcohol, from marijuana, from cocaine, from heroin, and even prescription opioids like Oxycontin, Vicodins, and Percocets. And for me, I began that healing journey in a drug treatment program in prison. And within that prison program, I learned about the transformative powers of yoga, meditation, sound healing, even creative expressive arts like poetry and journaling. And, I had a lot of misconceptions about these holistic modalities. And to be quite frank, everyone, I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. I didn't see Black men practicing yoga and meditation and sound healing at that time. So I really didn't think it was for me. But I know the things I was doing prior to going to prison, it just wasn't working for me no more. So I had to try something new. I had to try something different. And by stepping out of my comfort zone and utilizing practices like sound healing and yoga and meditation, allow that to be a vehicle for me to go within, because I truly do believe that healing begins with inside of ourselves. And I was able to find that sense of calmness and inner peace, even being in a very hostile and restrictive environment such as prison. But most importantly, I was able to understand the root causes of my experiences with addiction. And from my lived experience, I realized that it was the unhealed emotional pain that I experienced in my life, the unprocessed trauma that I endured that for me went all the way back to childhood, but also adolescence and adulthood trauma, as well as the toxic chronic stress. For me, all of that was at the root of my addiction. So for many years, I reached for something outside of myself to find that sense of relief from that distress. And I found it in alcohol and other drugs, and it worked for me for a while until it didn't work anymore. And I got caught up in a very, very vicious cycle of addiction. But I wasn't able to see that cycle that I was in because the people I associated with at that time, we really normalized the toxicity of our lifestyle. And but the people that truly cared about me had my best interests at heart, which for me was my family, my loved ones. They was able to see that very vicious cycle that I was in. But I could tell you today, you know, all the things that I experienced in my life, my experiences being incarcerated, my experiences being in active addiction, I'm grateful for all those because if it wasn't for those experiences, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. And when I think about it, I look out my window and it's a pretty nice day out right now. And I think about how can we truly appreciate the sunshine without experiencing the rain in our lives? How can we truly appreciate the good times in our life without experiencing the so-called negative times in our life? And like a beautiful flower needs both the sunshine and the rain in order to grow. I believe the same concept applies to us as people that's in or seeking recovery. We need all of our experiences, our so-called negative experiences, as well as our positive experiences, in order to grow in our lives. But one thing I learned on my healing journey is that, we had that opportunity to grow through our challenges, through our struggles, through our difficulties that we go through, and those experiences that we have in our lives. So I could sit here today and say I'm grateful for all those experiences because it really made the man that I am today. And I love to share a poem that I wrote while I was in a drug treatment program in prison. And I never forget my last prison bid that I did. And thinking about that time, still detoxing from the night before in Hartford Corrections, here in Hartford, Connecticut, in the county jail, and detoxing from the heroin, from the cocaine, from the Klonopins, from the liquor, from all the other drugs that I consumed in my body, and think about all the pain and hurt that I caused to my family, but particularly my daughter, and all the pain that hurt that I was feeling. And for me, it was at that point where most of us heard I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I believe the window of opportunity opened. And at that moment, it was a feeling of surrender, and not necessarily giving up per se, but just really surrendering to the process of recovery. And my daughter Tatiana, she was my inspiration for me to find the inner motivation to really change my life around for the better because I wanted to be the man, the father that my daughter could look up to and be proud of. So while in prison, I took advantage of all the program that was available. And the program that really helped me the most was the drug treatment program in prison. And it was a 4 months program. And I had an opportunity to learn about myself and my relationship to alcohol and other drugs. But not only that, I was able to find tools and learn about tools and practices to help me to address some of the root causes of my experiences with addiction, but also help me to sustain my sobriety once I was, discharged from incarceration. And by practicing sound healing and meditation and yoga, and allow myself to feel all those raw human emotions that came up, because for me there was a lot of drugs in prison. If you had the commissary or the money, so to speak, you could purchase whatever drug you wanted. But I made that commitment to myself. I made that commitment to my daughter to not consume no more substances. So therefore, all those emotions that I suppressed under the influence of alcohol and other drugs, it was coming up to the surface. And do believe that's so important for us to feel before we heal. And having tools and practices that I learned while in the program, such as journaling, such as expressive arts, like poetry, and all these different tools that help me to process my raw human emotions in a very healthy and therapeutic way. And the name of this poem that I wrote while in prison that was very therapeutic for me then to process these emotions, and it's an honor to share it with each and every one of you now. And the name of this poem I wrote is called Eyes of a Silent Sun. Look into my eyes and tell me what you see. Is it a lost soul with no control, trying to be free? As I look into the mirror and stare into my eyes, I see all the anger and self hate, hypocrisy and lies. I see resentment, frustration, embarrassment, and pain. I see jail bars and fancy cars as I cruise down memory lane. I see the feelings I repressed, going back to childhood. I need to let go of those feelings. I would if I could. I see the hurt that I caused to the ones I love the most. I see my brother on his wedding day as we celebrate with a toast. I see the good and bad times that I experience in my life, but it's so hard to let go of all that bitterness and strife. There's a sense of sadness when you look into my eyes, like the ones you see when a close relative dies. But this death is not physical, it has to do with the soul. It's that morbid feeling we get when our spiritual energy is low. It's like nothing matters anymore, like that day when I was fired, feeling depressed and weak. Can't sleep, but I'm so tired. I'm tired of all the pain, the hurt, and the rain from that cloud that keeps following me. Sometimes I think I'm insane. But when I look out the window and see the beauty of the lake, it reminds me of good times, like when I was 9 and things were fine. And with the sunrise, I can feel the presence of the Creator. When I look out my window, I see me in the beauty of nature. I'm a part of God's creation, nature, and humanity. The loving spirit that's in Jesus is also in me. So I learned to love myself and others just for who we are. I learned all about this love looking out my window with jail bars. And for me, I learned about love in a very unusual place, in prison, behind bars. And by practicing sound healing, allow that to be a vehicle for me to go within, I was able to see the shame and guilt that often keeps people like ourselves in that very vicious cycle of addiction. But I also was able to move past that shame and guilt and connect to the true essence of who I am. And I believe the true essence that each and every one of you are. And that essence I'm talking about is the unconditional agape love. Now, love, I believe, is more than just a human emotion. I believe that love is a vibration, it's a frequency, and it's also our natural state of being. But oftentimes, our addictions, our poor choices we make, the trauma we went through, all the hurt that we go, the wounds, makes us feel so disconnected to the inner love that dwells inside of all of us. And looking out that window and understanding that the same love and divine essence that created the sun, the moon, the stars, all the beauty of nature, it created me, it created each and every one of you. Now, I believe Albert Einstein said that you can't solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. So by really shifting my perspective, my worldview, I had it to really shift the way I see myself, the world, and the people in it. If I really wanted to shift my lifestyle from an active addiction to sobriety and recovery, I had to change the way I see myself, the world, and the people in it. And I believe that life is about learning, growing, and evolving. I learned from my so-called negative experiences in my life, and I've grown from the knowledge that I attained from them. And for that knowledge, it allowed my consciousness to evolve. So as a result, I became more consciously aware of the choices I make in my life. And it's still a journey of sobriety, a journey of self-discovery, a journey of recovery on this path. And I believe that recovery is non-linear. It's almost like an upward spiral, so to speak. And we go through one aspects of challenges in our life in our sobriety journey, and we kind of see things from a different perspective along, further along in that path, and we have opportunities to address certain trauma, certain issues, certain things that we haven't dealt with. But that's part of the experience. That's part of trusting the process, because I believe recovery is about progression, not perfection, and learning from our experiences as we go through in our lives, through our struggles, our challenges, our difficulties. And we learn that those are the medicines that we need in order to evolve our states of consciousness. And, it's been over 15 years that I've been sober from alcohol and other drugs. And sound healing has been a tool and practice that really helped me to sustain my sobriety. And that's why I'm so passionate today about sharing sound healing to different people from all walks of life, particularly from people that have similar experiences like myself, that's dealing with, addiction or trauma or mental health challenges in our lives. So, what is sound healing? Sound healing is the intentional use of sound to create a vibrational environment, which becomes the catalyst for our healing in the mental, emotional, spiritual, as well as physical aspects of our beings. So during the sound healing sessions, oftentimes I use the crystal singing bowls, which is made out of quartz crystals. And the bowls that I utilize is tuned to 432 hertz. I have the Himalayan singing bowls that we got from Nepal. Have the buffalo drum, the gong, the ocean drum, the tingsas, the rattles, the chimes, the crystal pyramid, and the different other healing tools that we utilize during the sound healing sessions to activate and stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, to activate the relaxation response, to help us to calm the mind, to relax the body, to feel our emotions. Because again, I believe it's so important for us to feel before we heal, as well as to nourish our souls. And the meditative sounds produced from all the sacred instruments that are utilized, it promotes healing from chronic stress, muscle tension, physical pain that we feel in our bodies, feelings of anxiety, depression, post traumatic stress, sleep issues, stuck emotions, high blood pressure, and different other stress related chronic health conditions that we experience in our lives. So, how does sound healing work? It's through the process of entrainment. So, when I play the different sounds and vibrations and tones from the different instruments that I'll be utilizing, it takes us from the waking state that we're in right now, and in scientific terms, is known as the beta state of brainwave activities or states of consciousness. And through that process of entrainment, it takes us from that waking state of beta down to an alpha state, which is a very calm and relaxed state. And some people go even deeper to that theta or delta state, which is a more deeper meditative state. It's in that theta state or that delta state. And that theta state is that state of consciousness that you feel when you're about to drift off to sleep, not necessarily sleep, but it is that flow state, that state that you're not necessarily sleeping yet, but you're very, very calm and relaxed state. And that delta state is when you're in deep sleep. And when you're in that theta or delta state, our minds, our bodies are relaxed. And when we're in a relaxed state, our bodies have a natural, innate ability to heal itself. That's why sleep is so important. But many of us that's in or seeking sobriety or recovery, we have dysregulated sleep patterns that can keep us up at night, or have broken up sleep patterns and everything. And how even sound healing, listen to certain frequencies and certain music that pertains like different solfeggio frequencies or binaural beats that can help us get us to that theta or delta state to help us to bring us to a very calm, relaxing, peaceful sleep. So it's during that state, our bodies are relaxed. And again, when we're in that relaxed state, our bodies have a natural, innate ability to heal itself. And stress in itself is not necessarily, a bad thing. We need stress in our life. It's part of our survival mechanism. It protects us from, dangerous situations, or it gives us that warning sign for us to flee from a situation. But when that stress becomes prolonged or chronic, that's when chronic stress can wreak havoc on our health and well-being. And one thing that chronic stress does, it weakens our immune system that makes us more susceptible to illnesses, diseases, flus, viruses, and what have you. So that's why it's vitally important to keep our immune systems up and our stress levels down. And sound heal is one of those tools to help us to do just that. And from my own personal lived experience, underneath the root causes of experiences with addiction, I believe is the unhealed emotional pain that we experience in our lives. So sound healing help us to address some of those chronic health conditions, mental health challenges that we face in our life. I also believe it's part of the unprocessed trauma that we endured. And I have a friend, Nikki Myers. She's the founder of Yoga and 12-Step Recovery, and she's the one that often says that our issues live in our tissues. And I find that to be so, so true. The trauma that we experience in our lives, the emotions that we suppress or repress, it's in our bodies, it's in our muscles, it's in our tissues. Our cells have memory, and our body keeps score of all of our experiences we go through on this journey that we call life. And the toxic chronic stress is just really the sounds of vibration really just bring us to a place of calm, relaxation, bring us back home, back into homeostasis, back into balance. So at this time, I invite all of us to take this opportunity to get into a comfortable position, whatever that may mean or look like for you. And I'm going to stop sharing my video. And I invite everyone now to get into a comfortable position, whatever that may mean or look like for you. And I have my diffuser on, and you're more than welcome. You have diffuser. You're more than welcome to add some water and a couple drops of your favorite essential oils. I have tea tree in my tea tree essential oils in my diffuser right now. You're more than welcome, depending where you're at. You're more than welcome to get into that comfortable position, whether it's sitting down in your chair or your couch or your bed or your floor. You're more than welcome to lay down too as well. Whatever feels most comfortable and safe for you, I invite you to do so at this moment. And at this time, I invite you to stop your video if you like as well too. And I'm going to do that for myself. And I'll see everyone on the other side. And as we take this time to check in with ourselves and notice how we feel at this very moment. And I invite each and every one of us to take a nice deep breath in and a long breath out as we root and ground within our body. And at this moment, I invite you to notice how you feel at this very moment. Notice any sensations you may feel within your body or any thoughts might be coming up to our conscious awareness or any emotions that might be arising within us. Let's take this time just to notice how we feel in a very loving, compassionate, and non judgmental way. Or should I say, let's be mindful of the judgments that do come up during this sound healing session as we take this time to relax, to reset, and to rejuvenate through the transformative powers of sound. Sound healing is a gentle reminder that sobriety is not just about abstaining from what harms us, but about tuning into the frequencies that nourish our souls, uplift our spirits, and guide us towards a life of harmony and inner peace. And as we bring our attention and awareness back into your space, back into this beautiful healing energy that we all co created together. And I invite you now to honor any sensations that might have been felt within the body, any thoughts that might have come up to your conscious awareness, any emotions that might have been felt during this sound healing session. I invite you to honor it at this time. And as we begin to integrate back into your body, back into your space, I now invite each and every one of us to take a nice deep breath in and a long breath out. We'll do this 2 more times. Take a nice deep breath in and a long breath out. One more time. Take a nice deep breath in and a long breath out. Releasing any stress, any worry, any anxiety, anything that no longer serves us. We ask for it to be released, and it is so. And finally, as we fully integrate back into our bodies, I invite you now to make any movements you need to make, whether that's wiggling of the fingers, the toes, any stretching of the arms, the legs, any rotation of the shoulders, the neck, any movement of the torso, whatever we need to do to bring our bodies back into full integration, giving it the movement, the love, the nourishment it needs and deserves as we fully integrate back into our bodies. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, if your eyes are closed, you may open your eyes. Take your time, everyone. And you're more than welcome to turn your video back on if you're so called to. Thank you so much, everyone. And I wanted to leave a few minutes for any questions, any comments, and concerns. And I have a question that I wanted to share to each and every one of you as we kind of enter into this holiday season and a lot of reservations around Thanksgiving. It is a day of mourning for a lot of Indigenous brothers and sisters here in the United States of America. But also, I like to kind of utilize this time to really think about the things that I'm grateful for in this very moment. So, the question I have to each and every one of you is what are you grateful for in this very moment in your life? But I'm also open to answer any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything you want to share as well too. But I also want to share that question out to each and every one of you. So whoever would like to share or you have a question or comment, you're more than welcome to hit the raise hand button and we can do a quick Q&A and share what are you grateful for at this time. Jessica,
Hi.
hey.
That was really a nice experience. I've never did that before. I wanted to ask you, what was the low frequency one that was more like doom?
um,
Which one was that?
One of the instruments I was using, it was probably the second instrument I did. It was the gong, and I noticed like my mic, it just seemed like the sounds were coming out a little low. Then I like to be a little louder for my
Hmm.
levels, but so I didn't get a chance to play all the instruments because I didn't like the way my levels were looking. It sounded like it wasn't coming out as loud enough. But the second instrument, which had that sound, I believe it was the gong.
Hmm.
And the gong is, virtual sound healing sessions are beneficial, but when you're in person, not only you can hear the sounds, but you could feel the vibrations. And the gong is great for releasing any stuck emotions or suppressed feelings and all these different things that's in our body because the vibration just washes through you in person, but also virtually too. It can have a very
I
profound
felt
effect
it.
on people. Yeah, yeah,
Trust me,
yeah.
I had it. It was going through these headphones. It was like,
Yeah,
I
and that's
was
true
like,
too.
oh, okay.
Headphones are much better when doing virtual sessions. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that was great.
Thank you.
No problem. So I just wanted to say what I was grateful for real quick.
Yes.
I am grateful to be alive.
Mm,
Um, and to be able to still wake up no matter what I'm going through.
Yes.
I'm waking up and I'm able to pour into people, sow seeds, and
Yes.
help people every day. I don't know where I get the strength from, but I'm just really grateful for that and just to be alive and where I am because I could have been anywhere.
That's
But
right.
I'm in a good space in life and I'm thankful for
Mm.
that.
I felt that, Jessica. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
sharing, and being the people that we are. We have a lot to be grateful for, I'm sure. And just being alive, I felt that. I felt that,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. So thank you so much, Jessica, for being here and for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Mickey, hey,
Hey, um, so I have a question,
sure.
and I can share as well, but the question I have is, so other than connecting with you on a regular basis, what's another good way to access this type of meditation? I mean, is there, like I do meditation through the Calm app,
Yes. Hmm.
and are there, I haven't looked for this type of thing on there, or are there other sources that um, could go after, have available to participate in this.
Yes. I also have a downloadable sound bath that you can download to your device at no cost on my website as well. And I'll put my information in the chat. But also Calm, I was told that Calm has a sound meditation on their app as well too. So you might have to type in search for sound meditation and it should have some there, but also YouTube. You could go to YouTube and type in sound meditation or sound healing, and they have an array of different videos that you can watch and listen to. You put your headphones in and listen to as well. And that's something that I do at night, particularly at night. I listen to different sounds and frequencies to help me sleep. But there's also different sound meditations when I'm not playing my instruments that we can listen to, even for 20 minutes, even for 5 minutes, and it can have a profound impact on us. And one of the most powerful sound healing instruments we have, I believe, is our voice. And utilizing our voice for like humming or vocal toning with the vowel sounds or even the primordial sound of Om, just just humming or vocal toning those sounds, it can stimulate the vagus nerve within our body, activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Even for 5 minutes, it has a profound effect on our well-being. And I have a course that's coming out by the end of next month that talks about sound healing essentials for sobriety, where I teach how to play the Himalayan singing bowl or the gong or the drum to really help us to sustain our sobriety, but also other tools and techniques in sound healing, such as our voice, listening to nature. Nature sounds is a natural sounds from nature can really bring us back home, back into homeostasis. So going outside and depending on what part of the world you live in, going by the waters, by the beach, or by the stream, listening to the wind, go through the trees or just whatever sounds that nature has is very calming and relaxing as well too. But there's also different recorded sounds we can listen to, such as the solfeggio frequencies and the binaural beats, which is highly recommend that we use our headphones when we listen to binaural beats in particular. And those are some ways that we can really incorporate sound healing into our personal sound, create our own sound healing practice for our lives. So those are
Yeah,
some suggestions, but I will put in my website, and you're more than welcome to download a 30-minute sound meditation sound bath as well.
thank you.
You're very welcome.
Uh, and what I'm grateful for is that where I'm at in my life, that I have evolved into more of an open-minded person who's willing to, much more willing to learn and engage and understand others and where people are coming from.
Yes.
Uh, and that's evolved and developed over time. Meditation's a great example.
Yeah.
Uh, I've 33 years in recovery. It took me 25 years before I would really try meditation. I
Yes.
had this mind block to it. And once I did, I go, how did I let myself miss that for all those years?
Yes.
So I'm grateful that I have a more open-minded approach to life today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm right with you. I'm same way, having, 15 years of sobriety in my early recovery. I have, it was strictly abstinence based, and it took some strong advocates and some harm reductionists to really start seeing things from a different perspective, not just from my perspective, and working with people that looking to reduce the harm that substances or any other drug it may be using in our life. And I had to be more open minded because I came from a mindset of just abstinence only, and I had to evolve, and to really understand that people can recover if they're not around, and really have people to really help me to start seeing things from a different perspective, start seeing things from other people's perspective, and really meet people where they are, and really connect with them from that perspective. So I can relate to what you're saying. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing as well. Anyone else like to share? Sarah.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm so grateful to be here with all of you. And Calvin, thank you. It just was incredible and personally what I needed for a variety of reasons.
Yes.
I just started working at a new agency a couple months ago, and so I have different opportunities available to me, and attending these webinars is one of them. And
Mm,
I just am really grateful for that, like growing, finding an agency that's really devoted to growing and learning and wanting to support employees and peers and yeah, it's incredible. It just feels incredible to be in a space like that.
yeah.
And it also feels like one of those God winks because we were speaking about you
Mm.
actually in a meeting this morning.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah. So I work at NJPN and
Oh, yes. Yes.
yeah, so we were actually talking about you. And so when it just wasn't connecting the dots. So I just, for
Ah,
those kinds of moments that happen, it just feels, it's just incredible. So thanks
ah,
for letting me be here and
yes.
hear you today.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing. And tell Jenna I said hello if
Well,
you see her
I
before
will.
after the holidays. Thank you so much. Yes, I hope to see you next year as well too at the conference. Yes, thank you. Robert, what's going on, brother Robert? Good to see you, man. All right. So anyone else like to share? We have a few minutes left. Rennie, what's going on, man?
Hey, Kelvin, thanks for calling on me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sound healing is something I have tried to get into, and I'll be honest, I almost fell asleep there with your with your ring-ins. I kind of wish I was sitting in a couch, but I'm on a chair right here,
Yeah.
so I almost fell off. But you know, I do work in an outpatient facility, and I used to work in an inpatient facility for substance use disorder.
Mhm.
And one of the greatest things that the clients had was when we brought sound healing in,
Mm.
and really it's an amazing way for them to escape from myself, to escape from the things that are going on in our lives at this moment. And I think that healing piece that you were talking about before, about how love and the sound can really heal anything that's going on,
Yeah.
and just take our minds off of all of the extracurricular stuff, right? And
Yeah.
focus on your breathing. And it's just fantastic. But what I'm grateful for, especially, being somewhat also in sustained recovery and
Mhm.
learning that I have purpose today and being able to be a part of,
Mhm.
I can go to Thanksgiving with my family tomorrow and not just sit there on like a lump on a log or complain about how the turkey's dry. I can actually do something about it and maybe cook my own turkey or something. So I'm just grateful to be here. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for sharing and so important. Because this is this is a festive time for many of us here in the United States, but it's also, like I said before, the day of mourning for a lot of people as well. But also, it does bring up the holidays. Does bring up a lot for many of us because many of us lost loved ones during this time, or so it brings up a lot of loss and grief and other emotional distress that comes up for us. Some of us have very unhealthy or even toxic family dynamics. So being around certain family members can activate or trigger us in certain ways, and so many people dynamics is different, but just being, I'm grateful that you're able to just be present with your family, enjoy a meal with them, and to really know who you are in your sustained sobriety is a very beautiful thing. So again, thank you so much, brother, for sharing it and for being here. There you go. What's up, brother Robert? How you doing, man?
Hello, let me see, am I muted? Yes, I am, huh?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How's everybody? And I end up catching it late. I was making some phone calls for TRS, and then I seen the email come through from Travis. I need to get on. You know what? I'm just when you ask about gratitude and grateful,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, but Jessica said something that kind of made me start thinking about something, because when you said that, I always remember where I come from first.
Mm-hmm.
I always remember where I come from first. You know what I'm saying? Where I come and like Thanksgiving wasn't part of the vocabulary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me tell you about what was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And that, sad to say, but that was my life for over 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And so today, when you said that, of course, just the gratitude, man, to be able to show up, for family is huge for me.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? It's huge. Being able to be there. Oh man, you can depend on me today, man.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
I'm accountable today, man.
Yeah.
And is it always an honor? Of course, man, to do service and be there for others. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. That's always number one. But I always need to remember where I come from. Am I grateful for me and where I'm living at? Because if I'm not grateful or have gratitude in my life, I'm not going to be able to provide gratitude towards somebody else.
That's right.
I need to display my gratitude towards others, but I have to have it internal.
That's right.
So I thought maybe, of course, thank God you come in here and you do some work on yourself and you get to learn about the self-centeredness, and that's the first thing that I said. I questioned myself, am I being centered, because I thought about me first.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I got to remember where I come from.
That's right, brother.
Man, the pain, right? The suffering through for over 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a weekend warrior. It didn't happen like that for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I am truly grateful to have this opportunity. I always thank you so much, Kelvin, and I appreciate you, seriously. So
thank you, Robert, so much for sharing and being here. It's so good to see you. And you and Brian do such amazing work in Danbury, Connecticut, man. At CCAR Recovery Center up there, man. Continue doing what you're doing. I see your work. I see your moves, man, and just the work that you're doing up there, man. And following you on social media. Continue doing what you're doing, brother, man. I'm so proud of you and the work that you're doing, man. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Chelsea said, grateful for all of the gift of recovery and also feel so much internal peace today. Thank you so much. Yes, yes. And Jessica says, so happy for you, Chelsea. Wishing you nothing but the best on your journey. And Jessica also mentioned, that's beautiful, Robert. Yes, Elizabeth said, grateful for the opportunity to meet everyone and anyone I can who are in recovery. Yes, we do recover. Yes. So grateful for life every day. Grateful for GOD. Yes. Grateful for the air in my lungs, the roof over my head, the food in my belly. Life is simply beautiful. Thank y'all so much, everyone. Thank you. This is really awesome and a great way to continue to move forward on my day. And I want to encourage all of us to continue to do the things that help us to nourish ourselves, to take care of ourselves, whatever that may mean or look like for us, whether it's sound healing or yoga or meditation or spending quality time out in nature. I think nature is one of the most underutilized antidepressants out there. But whatever we can do, I encourage all of us to continue to do the things that help us to nourish ourselves because I believe self care is a form of self love. And when we do the things that honor and nurture ourselves in a holistic way, meaning mentally, emotionally, spiritually, as well as physically, it's a true act of self love. Because when we take this time out to relieve stress, to find that inner peace and balance, we can rationally respond to situations instead of emotionally reacting to them. And I know when I emotionally react to things, I say things and I do things that I later regret. But when we're less stressed and more relaxed, we think clearly, make better decisions and choices that resonate with our greater good. We're able to strengthen our immune systems, decrease our heart rate and our blood pressure. We gain more mental clarity and insight. We're also able to tap into the love, the peace, the happiness, the joy that dwells inside of each and every one of our hearts. All we need to do is take this time like we did today and simply just be, knowing that that inner peace and that unconditional agape love, it truly is a natural state of being. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for joining me. And my heart is full right now. So thank y'all so much. Grateful for all of y'all. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day and good rest of the weekend, everyone.